isn't different in a lot of aspects. The church is a type of business. It's not a business in the sense that we're in it for the gain of money. I mean, you know that I'm not on here looking for your money. If you listen to my radio show, I'm not asking you for money. But it has the same concepts as a business. And we need to understand that. We need to be practical. That's why, if you look at the greatest preachers, prophets, evangelists, a lot of times they were businessmen before they even got into the office that they're in today. If you even look at David in Jesse's house, when the prophet came up there, David was in business. He was tending the sheep in his father's business. He understood how to win war. He learned, and that's the way I was brought up. I learned about Christ in my business. I learned about the prophetic in my business. Some of you are listening right now saying, is that Vic Caroleo on this TV show? Yeah, it's me. I've come back from the dead. I was in a coma. I never thought God would ever take me out of business. I loved my business. I was in the garden center business. I enjoyed it tremendously. I loved the people that came and patronized me. But now God's called me to another vein. So I want to tell you this, that even this message that I'm saying, I passed my mantle on to my son. And I want to tell you something. In that divine process, my son has become a lot like me, good, bad, or indifferent. But I want to tell you something. My son at a young age is dealing in a business that took me over 30 years to get to where I was. And this young man walks in. But you know what? He was watching his father all through his young ages. So it was nothing for when I said, and really I didn't say to him, the doctor says, your father's going to die. Son, you should go out and run that business. And my son took that task on. And in doing that, he did very well. And I'm proud of my son, Dominic. I mean, this kid really, really heard from God, heard what his father would want when I was in a state that I couldn't even explain to him what to do. He knew how to pick up that mantle. So, I just want to say that understand that churches need elements of business in them. So let's not get so religious that we fight this even in our own mind. Now I want to talk to the people that don't know Jesus Christ. And, that's what I've really gotten on here. And again, I invite you out to the Upper Room Christian World Center, 722 Deer Park Avenue, for a great church. I want to tell you something. If you've not been to our church, my God, you're missing something. For years when I used to go to this church, I said, this is the best hidden secret that I've ever seen. I felt when I went in there, the music was so powerful, it just touched me as soon as I walked in the door. I felt that preacher, as he was preaching, was speaking directly to me. I started to see the gifts of the Spirit. I started to see God working through his apostolic leadership. And I want to tell you, I wasn't always a man that had my head on tight and had everything in order. But by going to church and listening to men that knew God, they transferred their wealth of knowledge. Men like Peter Nunzianti, Sam Hashem, Vincent Ferranti, Pastor Greg Eck, men like this that have just really put their lives down for the congregation. These men could have been very successful in anything they did, but they felt in this life to help God's people. And I believe they've done a great job. I've been reading through the Bible lately, and I've been in Romans, and I don't know, some of you read the Bible, some of you don't. Some of you just need to dust it off. And in dusting it off, you're going to mine for gold. The Bible's like mining for gold. You go line upon line, and you take your time and you read. You don't have to read the whole thing from front to back. Sometimes it's just a paragraph that God will speak to me. And I want to tell you this, that if you're preaching the Word of God, you need to be in this book. But I believe every believer should be skilled, be able to answer people. I know people that run away from cults that come to their front door to talk about God. They run away because they don't have the ammunition. But I tell you, if you'd start just reading every day and mining for this gold, you'll see something. Your life will change. You'll be able to quote it, and you'll be able to take the Word of God and then facilitate it to the needs in your life. I want to read out of here in Romans. I came across